Hi, if you're joining us today, you are joining our 8-part series of how to encourage your church leadership. And this is the first video, and we're going to talk about how to pray for your church leaders. Now, when I say church leaders, I don't just mean pastors. I also mean the Bible study teachers, the ushers, the people that are there day in and day out, working diligently to keep your church going. It takes a lot to keep a church running, and sometimes we forget about those that are serving us most. So this is the series, 8 ways to encourage your church leadership, and this is video 1, how to pray for your church leaders. Now, we all know how to pray, right? I mean, praying is just talking to God. I'm just going to give you some very specific ways that you can pray for them. 1, pray that they would have thankfulness and joy. Let's be honest. We are a complaining lot of sheep. And if we can pray that our leaders would have thankfulness and joy, then when people are coming at them with their complaints and their problems and just kind of the worst parts of Christianity, then they can keep their eyes fixed on Jesus and gratitude and joy, and they'll be better servants for it. The second thing I want you to remember to pray for your church leaders is that they would clearly hear the word of God and have discernment. You guys, we are battling not against flesh. Okay. We are battling not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. And it is so important that we keep our leadership in prayer, that they would have discernment. The third thing that I really love praying for the leadership for is discipline. There are in your everyday life, there are so many things that pull you in so many directions. And having the discernment and the discipline to know what to do and when to do it and to actually do it is something that is so valuable. So if we can pray for our pastors and our leaders to have discipline, wouldn't that be a great thing for them to always have and for us to always be praying for them? Another way you can pray for your leaders is pray that they would have a great support team and family. You guys, what they're doing is hard. Right now, I'm filming this video in July or August. Right now I'm filming this video in August of 2020, and we have unprecedented times for church leaders where there are restrictions in states for the way you can hold services and what you can do and say and where you can be and if you can worship and if you have to wear masks because of the coronavirus. And so we need to really be praying that our church leaders have a supportive team that can be with them and back them up. I've heard of 2 pastors in the last week that have COVID-19 and their families have had it or in the process of getting it, and that support team needs to be lifted up in prayer, and their families need to be lifted up in prayer, and it's just a really, really important. Another way that you can pray, which really leans on the last way too, is just pray for spiritual protection over their families. You guys, I personally am one to think that people say too much. Oh, Satan this, Satan that. You know what? If you're not doing anything for the Lord, I don't think Satan is worried about you. You're caught up in your own flesh. He doesn't need to worry about you. But these people, these leaders that are serving the body and that they are diligently day in and day out fighting for you in prayer and through good teaching, they really need to be prayed over to have spiritual protection for them and their families, because Satan is out to seek, kill, and destroy, and he really starts in the family unit with marriages, divisiveness, and with children disrespecting their parents, just division. So please also be praying for spiritual protection over your leaders. Now, my favorite one and the last one, and I pray this for husbands and I pray this for spiritual leaders, is that their home would be a refuge for them. We run to God, and we can run to God at any time of the day, and that's one of my favorite things about being a believer. But when we're out in the world, it can be so draining. It can just be so full of people's problems and sin and just heaviness. So I like to pray, and I feel like we should all be praying for our leaders, that their homes would be a refuge for them, that their homes would be a safe haven. Whoever's there being the homemaker would prepare a place that they can come back to and feel refreshed and restored and have a time of rest before they have to go back out into the world. I just feel like that is so important. So I'm going to go over them again really quickly, and so bear with me. 1, thankfulness and joy. Please pray that they have thankfulness and joy, that they would hear God clearly and have discernment, that they would be disciplined, that they would have a great support team and family. You guys, somebody to lift their arms like Aaron did for Moses. Family help and spiritual protection. You guys, please be praying for spiritual protection over your leaders, that they would have their armor on, that they would be fighting the good fight, that God would send angels to fight for them. And last but not least, that their homes would be a refuge for them. I hope you have enjoyed this video on how to pray for your church leadership. Please don't forget to join us. Next week's video in this series is going to be on how to support your pastor in his biblical teaching and church philosophy. And I'll tell you a couple things about the difference. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to watch other videos here on Cedar Creek Ministries.